Right, so here we have the 3rd Company Raven Guard, true to fluff from the Skulkrak campaign. They'll be facing off against some Orks today. Let's see what we've got.
Right, we've got 5 Vanguard veterans, all twin lightning claws with Shrike. We've got 10 assault marines with a librarian. We've got 10 devastators with 2 flat missile launchers and 2 las cannons. We've got a standard dreadnought with power fist and assault cannon. Okay. A ironclad dreadnought with a chain fist and hurricane bolter.
Sweet.
Thunderfire cannon.
Yeah.
My first tactical squad with a las cannon. Second tactical squad with a heavy bolter and a... That's not supposed to be there. That's in the wrong squad.
Never mind.
That's a heavy bolter and a flamer. 10 more with just a plasma cannon in there.
Sweet.
And that's it. That's everything.
1850. So here we have 1850 points worth of Orks. Let's have a bit of a closer look.
We've got the War Boss on the bike with power claw, cyborg body and a Waaagh banner, accompanied with 5 death copters, each with a rocket launcher. Snickrot with 8 commandos, 2 burners. We've got a Dakka jet, it's got the Fly Boss, extra Dakka. That's everything for that. Strip truck, which contains 10 boys, big shooter, knob with power claw. We've got 20 more boys, 2 big shooters, big chopper, and the big mechs in there. And then again with another squad of 10 boys, big chopper, big shooter, and another war boss. He's just got the big chopper and cyborg body, and they're all in this truck. Then we've got the Death Dread with a Scorcher and an extra power arm, riddled with grot riggers.
Sweet.
6 killer cans, all with rockets, and they've each got grot riggers. And then another Death Dread with a Scorcher, extra power weapon, and grot riggers again.
And that's it. 1850s. So here we have the field of battle after deployment. The mission is scouring, and the setup is Vanguard Strike. Looking at objectives, we have a 4 here. We have a 2 here. We have a 1 here. A 3 there. A 3 there. And finally a 2 there on that hill. The only other thing to mention is that this crater, this area terrain here, has been fortified by the Tet Marine. Right, let's crack on. First the Death Copters with the War Boss have just come over to this flank here, and then everything else is just predictably pushed forward across the board. Let's move on to shooting. So after Ork turn 1 shooting, the killer cans fired off a load of rockets at that dread there, but failed to actually do anything. Then pretty much everything else turbo boosted or ran to get a little bit closer. That's all the Orks are doing. So let's get on to Raven Guard turn. Raven Guard turn 1 movement. These guys have moved forward a little bit. They got 1 inch on the difficult terrain. These guys have potted forward a little bit, and so have these guys. They got 3 inches. So let's move on. So Raven Guard shooting's got off to a relatively good start. The Thunderfire cannon in the corner over there managed to put some shots on these Orks, wiped out 8 boys and put a hull point on the killer can there. He's also stunned. Then the Devastators over there managed to take out the front can. Over here, these boys managed to put some pistol shots into the truck here and wreck it with 3 6s. I wish I'd got that on camera. And that's pretty much it. So in the assault phase for the Raven Guard, they got into this mob here. The Raven Guard managed to do 2 wounds to the Orks, kill 2 Orks, and also do a wound to the knob in a challenge with the Sergeant. And then in return, the Orks managed to kill 2 Marines, so they won. So Ork movement turn 2. In terms of reserves, he got that Dakka jet on, and these guys have just pushed forward here. And these guys, this mob here of boys, has disembarked. Look like they're going for a little assault onto these Marines here. These Death Copters are pushed forward a little bit. And then if we just go over here, Grotsnick has snuck on here. I think he probably wants to get a little bit of revenge against the Tet Marine here. So let's see what happens in shooting first. So after Ork shooting turn 2, things have picked up a little bit. These cans managed to put some missiles on the front dreadnought, took off 2 hull points. Then moving over here, these boys managed to put some fire into these marines here and killed 2. The Death Copters added some fire in there but didn't manage to do anything. The Dakka Jet put some fire onto the cannon here and did a hull point to it, and then 2 burners from these commandos over here managed to take out the last cannons at the back of the Devastator squad. Let's move on to assault. So after the Ork assault phase, turn 2, these boys charged in here, managed to do 2 wounds. They took 2 in return, so that's a drawn combat. The sergeant did die in a challenge against the Knob. Then, if we just cruise over here, these Orks managed to win the combat, just the sergeant's left in a challenge. The Killer Can did join the back of the combat but couldn't actually reach over the head of the mob to finish off the sergeant. So we'll go on to Raven Guard turn 2. Raven Guard movement turn 2. These assault marines have leapt up the hill over the back of the Devastators, try and crush these commandos here, cover their battle brothers. Over here, these dreads have pushed forward. They're going to go for a bit of a mech assault. Then over here, we have a deep strike unit. They've got the 2 flamers. They're going into the back of the mob there. Apart from that, these guys just ran forward a little bit on this cover. Let's get into shooting. So Raven Guard turn 2 shooting. These assault marines managed to kill 3 of the Orks from this mob here and put a wound on the boy. These assault marines here, or rather normal marines, managed to kill 2 of the Death Copters. Then we had a cheeky last cannon shot from this guy here. That managed to vector lock the Dakka Jet. And then over here, the Tech Marine with his big gun managed to put a hull point on that Killer Can there. And now it's assault. So in the Raven Guard assault turn 2, these assault marines managed to kill 5 of the commandos. In return, they lost 2 of their number. Over here, the Orks made short work of the remaining Space Marines, and again here they all piled in on the challenge and killed the sergeant who was there. And then finally over here, this dreadnought made his charge in and managed to kill 1 of the cans, but they in return mobbed and destroyed him, and now they've consolidated 4 inches forward. Look like they're going for a charge on the other dreadnought. So Ork movement turn 3. Over on this side of the board, after the victory in the last assault phase, everything seems to be sweeping forward here. Over here, the same again. These Killer Cans are moving up to get the charge in on that dread here. And then over here, we have the Death Dread, who's turned around to cover his boys back. He looks like he's going to be going for the charge on these assault marines here. Let's get on to shooting. So Ork shooting phase, turn 3. The Death Copters with their war boss there managed to put a wound and kill 1 of Shrike's lot over here. Then the Dakka Jet, despite snap firing, managed to kill the Thunderfire cannon here. Over here, these boys managed to put a hole. Then over here, this Death Dread managed to kill 1 of the assault marines with his flamethrower. Let's move on to assault. So in the assault phase for Orks, turn 3, Snickrot's taken a wound in a challenge against the Librarian, but has dealt a wound in return. Then moving over here, the Dreadnought managed to kill 1 of the cans, but took a hull point in return. Then if we just look over here, Shrike lost 3 of his lads, but managed to, between his squad, kill 4 boys in return. And then finally, if we just cruise over here, we can see that this was a drawn combat with the Death Dread killing one of the Marines and taking a hull point in return. Let's see what Raven Guard can do. Raven Guard turn 3 movement. The Tet Marines moved up here in support, and then these boys have just moved forward towards that objective. In the Raven Guard shooting phase, the flak missiles from the Devastator squad managed to take out the Dakka jet, and that's it. So let's go on to it. So at the end of turn 3, the last of the commandos and Snickrot have been wiped out. They were caught when they broke by the librarian and his crew. Over here, Shrike has died. However, his last remaining assault marine is sticking in combat. Then, if we go over here, this was a drawn combat. 1 hull point. Oh no, no hull points were done. Just 1 marine was killed, but they did break. But then they knew no fear. Yeah. And then. Finally, on this massive combat over here, the Dreadnought managed to kill one killer can, and in return he lost a hull point and was immobilised through that hull point. So he's on 1 left. Let's get on to Ork's turn.
Right, turn 4 for the Raven Guard player. The only plan here really is that I'm going to get absolutely annihilated in close combat, so I'm going to try and do damage control and take as many objectives as I can. That's pretty much it. I'm hoping I'm going to win that combat over there. Really lucky though. So
The Orks have made their way up the board, about halfway now. They've not cared too much for the objectives, which could prove fatal in the long run. This combat's been going on for a good while as well, but the Orks are optimistic. We'll see how it goes.
Ork movement turn 4. The Death Copters have swept round the side of that ruin in support, bearing down on the Raven Guard over there. And then this truck here has just bumped out from these ruins, pushing forward. And then the only other thing is that this Dakka jet has come in automatically, and he's bearing down on those guys in that little ruin there after their victory against the Orks. So Orks shooting, the Dakka jet managed to kill one of these Devastators here, and then the missiles or rockets from the Death Copters managed to take out one of these Marines here. Everything else just kind of took the opportunity to wiggle around and get in the best position possible. Those Orks look like they've just snuck onto that objective there. Let's crack on with the assault. Space Marines here. Over here, the Dreadnought was finally killed by the Death Can. He did actually take a wound off the Assault Marines behind him though. This Assault Marine here was finished off, and those guys have just consolidated away. And then here, somehow the Assault Marine is just still buzzing round the head of the Death Dread. That combat continues. So Raven Guard movement turn 4. These Marines with the Librarian have just moved up around here, and then the Tet Marine just nipped over here. So in the Raven Guard shooting, they managed to put a wound or a hull point on the Dakka jet. These guys strafed the copters with their bolters and took one of them out, and then these guys put some fire down on the Orks here. The war boss has lost a wound, and 3 guys died, I believe. Excellent, okay. So after the assault phase, the war boss managed to kill the Librarian in a challenge, although he is down to 1 wound himself. These assault marines charged into these boys here, managed to kill 4 of them for none in return. So after Ork movement turn 5, this cheeky little truck that's just been sat around not drawing too much attention to itself has whizzed over to the 4-point objective. This guy's flown up here, not really got many targets apart from maybe that Tet Marine down there. And then the Death Dread has just moved up, and the Mech Boy has then moved through the unit towards him. Let's see if he can get a fix in case the game continues. That's pretty much it. Ork shooting, the only thing that happened was the Dakar jet took out the Tet Marine. Ork assault turn 5, the war boss killed 3 guys, and then over here this boss killed one of these assault marines. On to Raven. Okay, so Raven Guard movement, turn 5. These boys have just moved onto this objective here through difficult, and then these boys are moving up here to contest that objective for the Orks. So at the end of the game, the dust has settled and the battle stands as such. These guys have 3 points here. They also have 2 points here and 3 points here. They also got first blood and killed a fast attack.
Yep.
So that takes them, the Raven Guard, to a total of 10 points. Then the Orks managed to get 2 points here, a cheeky 4 points here, putting them on 6. Then they got line breaker, fast attack, and slay the warlord. Great match. How are you feeling?
Good. Really enjoyed that game. Quite happy with the result of it.
Raven Guard did what you wanted them to do.
Raven Guard did exactly what I wanted them to do with Orks. I wish we'd had an extra turn or something like that to see what happened in the end. Like, but as it ended.
That's it.
But I think honourably wise, I think the Ironclad did better than arguably anything else on the board. I think it held off for about 3 game turns against 5 kilocans and a Death Dread.
Sweet. Anything you would have done differently?
I think I would have played further back, definitely. I think I played too far forward with that. It was a bit too aggressive, which arguably Space Marines aren't supposed to be that aggressive. So
Raven Guard though, innit? Shrike.
That's probably what
Get
I'd do
stuck in.
That's definitely what I'd do differently anyway.
Well done, man.
Right, no problem.
Well done, Lewis. Great game. Fantastic to watch. How you feeling?
Feeling good, yeah. I think what it was a good game. It was fun, especially with the new Ork codex being out. That was my first proper game getting into them, and kind of got to grips with what's what in it. Like, it was
Sound. What's your man of the match?
man of the match, probably, right? Snickrot. I liked Snickrot. I liked his kind of. I thought he was going to die first turn. He was there for about 3 game turns, was it?
Yeah.
So he's done his part, like.
Dragged everyone into the combat.
Everyone
Yeah.
involved,
Sound. And anything you would have done differently?
I think I played it kind of how it was coming. I'm quite happy they weren't a 6th turn because the Marines did start turning, kind of wiping away the scraps of the Orks and that, like, so I got a lucky escape at turn 5.
Sound. Well done.
Good stuff.
No.